Hi, First Church. I reach out to you through this video because I want you to receive clearly the message of our motivation and reasons and how we are going to discern returning in-person worship gatherings. While we are all eager to gather and worship, we know that it is only a matter of time. First Church has decided to be proactive and how we will advance into phase 2, which includes in-person gatherings. Every decision we make is rooted in our motivation that is founded in love and faith, not fear. We know that God is with us. We know that God is in control. We know that God works all things for good. So as First Church family, we are seeking God's direction and wisdom. The church leadership, the staff, the pastoral team, the task force team assigned to this very project, we all together have been praying earnestly and brainstorming and discerning collaboratively, seeking God's very own heart. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verses 13 and 14 reads, "Stay awake, stand firm, be brave, be strong, and everything you do it in love." Psalm 31 verse 15 reads, "You are my God and our future is in your hands." We trust God's timing and we wait in God's timing. And being still and waiting is not the same or does not mean that we are doing nothing, that we are being passive and dormant and complacent and feeling restricted. We believe that we have been called to adapt new ways for all of us to connect in worship experiences. We are finding new ways to adapt so that we continue loving and serving, for that mission never stops. We are being stretched. We are really knowing what it's like to rely in God, to trust in God, and to experience how God makes new ways for us to be the church. We have never shut down. We are not shutting down, and we don't feel any pressure in shutting down. We have moved beyond the church facilities into being ambassadors of love and faithfulness. And as we discern, we always go back to that question: how can we actually demonstrate love and service and faithfulness? We have moved into a diligent pace to offer virtual services with engaging worship music. We are committed to bring you a message week after week that speaks to the current situation and that God is in the midst of crisis and chaos. We have been committed to improve and learn how to integrate more visuals and more audio, again, so that all of us can have a more effective worship experience. We protect our elderly, we protect the sick and the most vulnerable. And we believe that is the way to shepherd people. The congregational care team, your pastoral team, and numerous persons have joined together to call persons on the phone to check in with them, to drop off basic essentials. I know that some of you have held the phone near the device or the TV for persons who don't have the technology or don't feel comfortable, so that they could listen and receive a word of We have integrated virtual arts so that we can all celebrate and remember the importance of Palm Sunday, Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday. I hope that you remember how we were all so encouraged when, to our surprise, we saw the drive and the talent and the teamwork of the choir persons, of soloists, of instrumentalists, of our worship leaders, of our production leadership, giving us a virtual choir worship experience. That, to me, is a song of hope and unity. The church is much more than coming on a Sunday morning for a few hours. The church has been operating week after week, every single day. In fact, we have been coming on Saturdays. People have been preparing meals on Thursdays, on Fridays, and on Saturday mornings, a group of assigned volunteers meet here in the Roby Hall and Fellowship Hall, and we prepare the meals. And then at 3 o'clock, despite the heat and the humidity, we open our grounds, and people who need a good hot meal can receive for their family, for anyone who needs it. In 7 weeks, we have offered over 2,000 meals for every person of the community who needs it for themselves and for the families. And we plan to continue to do this as much as it is needed. The church is much more than coming to a church building. We have been called to such a time as this, when we must be the church, and for each of us to stand firm as ambassadors, and in your context, speak on behalf of the church. We are to be the church. These are the ways that we are loving, that we are being faithful, and that we are serving the community, speaking loudly and clearly that the church continues. As a church, you have contributed with your tithes and offerings, supporting the staff, maintaining and fulfilling our responsibilities. We continue to keep up with the facilities and the maintenance of it. And in fact, we are growing and advancing, preparing new ways so that once we return, we have certain things upgraded. We have learned through this difficult pandemic the need for live streaming and having services online. And that is a tremendous undertaking. And we are right now preparing and figuring out how to do that. We have connected with people because of the online worship experiences. From far, people we have yet to connect with are now joining us. More children have engaged with our children's ministry program. On Sundays at 10:30, all of us can be exposed to the incredible and meaningful program that Lisa offers. And it's great to see her joy and her passion, and it's good spiritual formation. The youth meet week after week on Wednesdays, in addition to Zoom small groups being done. And they use Instagram and IC, and they have worship time. They do silly games and great interactions, and they jump on their phones, and they're having life in community. Many of you are inviting neighbors and family who are far to join us for worship service. We have gone out of the building and beyond this difficulty, and we're reaching out to people. So we are preparing right now what phase 2 looks like. Currently, we have been in phase 1. We entered phase 1 on March 14th. That included online services only and no corporate gatherings of any kind. For the staff, they were encouraged to work from home, rotating the time in the church office. We have been good stewards of our income and expenses, holding back spending and any hiring process. And now we're getting ready to step into phase 2. This is what phase 2 looks like. Church services will continue to be offered virtually. You will always have the choice to join us online or to select from the 3 choices we're going to offer on campus. 3 services on Sunday morning. At 9 o'clock, we're going to open Roby Hall, and we encourage all of you who are 65 and older and or persons who have any kind of mobility restrictions. The capacity in that space will be for 25 to 30 persons max. At 11 o'clock, we're going to join upstairs in the Faith Building. And we're going to seat 50 to 60 persons max. And the last service at 4 p.m. will be offered in the Faith Building upstairs, seating 50 to 60 persons max. Thorough cleaning after all services will take place, and of course, ready for the following week. Families and every person is asked to register online. We're going to prepare and inform how to do that by using Shelby. And once the service reaches the capacity, registration will close for that service. We will also accept requests over the phone. Our church office will be available if you need to register directly with one of us on the phone. For all church services in person through phase 2, we're going to ask everyone to use face masks. We ask that you bring your own. We will have some as a way for those who may need it or for emergencies, but we ask that you help us with the cost of that and be proactive. Bring your own face mask. We're going to practice what we are going to consider as touch-free services. We will not give bulletins. Everything will be on screens. We will greet one another and express our love without touching or reaching out for a handshake or a hug. We ask that you self-enforce social distancing. We are equipping the entire facility and grounds with freestanding hand sanitizing stations in place. We're going to ask everyone to gather for these worship services, and we will not have childcare or Sunday school classes. We will continue to embrace the talents of our worship leaders. We will not have at this time more people involved in the choir or a full band. We will not have the food service. We will make sure that all of the entrances and exits are marked. And again, for those of us who are uncomfortable in groups or have shown symptoms in the last 2 weeks, you are encouraged to stay home and watch online. We want to at least give you a sneak peek to phase 3 and phase 4. Phase 3 includes continuing online service and or live stream. This depends on how ready we are with the equipment and the training needed for that. We will continue to offer the 3 services on Sunday morning, Roby Hall and Faith Building, at a seating capacity of 50%. Persons will continue to register online. Childcare and student ministry will restore to gatherings with a capped capacity. We will continue with touch-free services, and we will evaluate our ability to restore choir and band and the food services. In phase 3, we will be ready to welcome small groups and Sunday school classes on campus. And we will make sure that we continue the deep cleanings throughout the week. Phase 4, We look forward to the time when we can simplify our online service, and by then we may be able to have a live stream approach. We will have multiple services without registration, 8 o'clock, 9:30, and 11. Child care and student ministry will be restored to full capacity. We will continue with touch-free services, but we will welcome choir and band restored to full capacity. And certainly we will continue to evaluate our ability to restore food services. I thank you for your time. We thank you for your trust, for your support, for your willingness to work with us. We ask that you continue to offer your trust and confidence in the ways that we believe we're honoring God. And I want to leave you with this from Matthew chapter 22, the Great Commandment. Please remember that it was religious leaders who were trying to challenge Jesus at that very moment when they asked him, what is the right thing to do? And Jesus answered, you must love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your being, and with all of your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You must love your neighbor as you love yourself. All the law and the prophets depend on these two commandments. May the Lord continue to bless us, to protect us. May we continue to speak Psalm 91 into our life today. And we will see you soon here at church. But for now, continue being the church. God bless you.